guys are ready.
What a difference a week makes.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I mean, like you just said, what a difference a week makes. What can you say about this week's performance compared to last week's?
A lot. I mean, obviously it was better. There was different aspects to it. I mean, we did, we made a conscious effort, change our defensive system. We're still, we were using the system that we had last year, had some success with it. For whatever reason, it wasn't working, and Dougie wasn't getting the shots that he wanted. So we actually changed our defensive system completely. Talked with Dougie a little bit about it, and just obviously he bounced back and seemed more comfortable tonight. So that was good.
And talking about the defense, Nishimura making his return, what can you say about his impact, not only for the team but the defense in general?
Yeah, I think when you couple getting Watkinson and Nish back, you're adding 20% to your defense, right? Of veteran guys where we don't have a lot of veterans. So you saw it. I mean, Colton was exceptional tonight. He was really good. Nish, for not playing for a long time, just sort of positional and knocking balls down and stretching the floor and protecting the ball. I mean, all things that add up throughout the course of 60 minutes.
Did you flip coordinators?
We did.
Yeah, so
that was another thing we did.
Daryl and Clem?
Yeah. So we had planned to switch our defense, and then we talked about switching the coaches, and the thought process was, if we're gonna flip them, and both of them are, Clem's actually more of an offensive guy, but he's, he can do either, and same with Daryl. So we thought if we're gonna change our system, now would be the time, and we've talked about it in the past, like switching them around, but we thought if we're gonna implement a new defensive system, we might as well do it now so that, the verbiage, the talking points, everything is, it's new, but Daryl gets to own it. He's not trying to talk to Clem's dialogue and not trying to talk to Clem's system. He can make it his own. And that was part of the reason. The other reason was, quite frankly, we needed a shake-up. We needed to shake up and change some things, and that's what we did.
Yeah, is it kind of like a desperate times call for desperate measures kind of thing? It's pretty radical changes.
Yeah, but it was a shake-up, but it was strategic as well. I mean, we were planning on changing the defense. So it was sort of, Gibby's played that defense at the NLL level. He's coached in Senior A, so he's comfortable with it. So it was definitely, to shake things up, but it was also strategic in the way that it's now we can have, a guy make it his own, and then Clem can add a voice to the O and change that. So.
In simplest terms, can you explain how this defense is much different than the one you were playing?
A lot more pressure. A lot more pressure on the ball versus sort of sitting back and exchanging. I guess probably the best way to describe it. A little more pressure around the top so they can't turn the corner, as opposed to our D guys exchanging and doing that. So more aggressive, and that was one of the things we said with this D. I don't know if you noticed, we knocked down a lot of balls and a lot of passes through the lane, and you kind of run into plays playing this because you pick up the pace. There's a little more activity in the defensive zone, and that's what we thought. We thought we'd run into a few plays, knock some balls down, get some more activity in the defensive zone, and I think that was evident tonight.
So this is closer to what you guys were running like 2 years ago, that high pressure, always having pressure on the shooter essentially, and kind of leaving Dougie, if the pass does beat you, you're kind of leaving him on a limb, but something he seems more comfortable with his style on the goal line.
Yeah, you're essentially trying to keep it on one side of the floor. So you're essentially trying to keep it same-sided, not let them turn the corner, force them back down. So he's settled on a post and in a position where he's not going back, trying to find his net. Yeah, I can't, to be honest, I don't know when we changed, but I know we used it in New England for a while. I don't know if you lose track. I don't know if it transferred to Albany and when we made the switch, but yes, it's what we've used in the past, and we just went back to it.
Yeah.
Aside from the technical and coaching changes, is there a soul searching that goes on when you have a loss like that and fall to 2-8?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week. Like last week was a bit of rock bottom. One of the other things we do, we can talk about it, is we brought in a sports psychologist today and brought them in to talk to the team and just reframe some of the dialogue that we had, and just, let these guys have, not a different voice, but a voice that deals with the mental aspect of the game. And So, we did a lot this week. We changed our defense, we changed our coordinators, we brought a sports psychologist that I think we're going to continue to work with because I think it was really good for the players. Johnny's in here, you can probably talk to everybody after, but it's a lot of, it was a lot of sort of things that I will talk about at different times, but he just sort of encapsulated it, and it was good. It was definitely valuable.
4 goals from Ty tonight, and nothing bad to say about his performance, but I want to talk about John's performance. Getting that depth from players that you need that depth scoring from. What can you say about his performance tonight?
Well, he's in the room. I feel like Ty.
Big shout out to John.
But the 2 goals are obviously massive, and that's Johnny's skill set, right? He's a goal scorer. But the plays that impressed me more, there was 2 plays that impressed me more. There was a tough loose ball on their crease for repossession, and then there was one where we were shorthanded and they pressed up the floor, and it was a hard pass to gather, and he won 2 loose balls in there. So the goals are great, which is why John is here, but those effort plays and small area plays are just huge, and those are that's when we were shorthanded. He doesn't get that ball. They get another look on the power play. It closes the gap. It can change momentum. It does all kinds of things. So, and that's one of the things I tell these guys is it's a lot of the small things that add up to the big things. And I thought we did a lot of those small things well. I mean, you saw right off the first face-off, we kind of lost it, and then we doubled down in the corner and got the ball back. And that was, thematic of what we were doing all game, I think.
To activate John this week, was it like a mashup thing, Glenn, or were you?
No, I mean, it was, Johnny's put in his time, and he's played well, and, it's kind of weird talking about him, but
Just fly on the wall over there.
No, but it's we've had dialogue with Johnny. He's a guy that's been growing his craft slowly and surely, right? And, tonight was probably one of his best games he's had. So when, you haven't come from a lacrosse, a box background, right? There's nuances to the game that get added on, and sometimes it's add, step back, add, step back, and then, earn your minutes and earn your stripes, and he certainly did tonight, right?
That being said, I mean, with all your young players, box lacrosse doesn't necessarily have guys here all week. How do you try to implement a new system? Is it a lot of over the phone? I mean, how do you guys kind of get through that, or is it all slammed down your throat here Friday?
No. We did a D meeting via Zoom, a video meeting. So we had Gibby, myself, Mike McKay on a video call with the players, and just shared a video screen, right, and walked through the process. The funny thing is, we're the only team that played the other system. All these guys are actually more familiar with what we pivoted to today. There's hybrid versions of it and different spins on it, but all these guys know that system and have played it, so it wasn't difficult implementing it. We just put our spin on it where we wanted our reads to come from, our slides and all those different things. But yeah, so we had a meeting Wednesday. We went through it, we introduced it, we walked through video of it, of us, other teams, working it out. Went through it last night at practice, had some live reps against the O guys, so they got some feel and some touch. Video session this morning, walking through it again. And so we had sort of 4 touch points between last weekend and tonight. And then if you want to count warm up, right, where they do some live reps. So, 4 or 5 different opportunities to get some flow with that.
Did you get a sense you made the element of surprise tonight with that, Glenn? Maybe throwing that at them might have thrown them off some?
It might have early, but like I said, most teams play that system anyway, so it would be a quick pivot for them. So then it becomes execution, right? Like you might have had it on the first couple of reps, but then they're going to go, okay, they're doing down pressure now. We're going to play like we play against everybody else.
Coach, we talked before the game about 12 penalties last week, and what could they do to be more disciplined. Only 5 tonight. What can you say about their discipline as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I think too, last week was, a lot of unraveling across the board, and that unravels mentally and physically. So I just thought today it was they were pretty laser focused on, performing, doing their job, picking up balls, not getting involved in scrums, staying active, all those kinds of things. So, when you're in a position where, losing does some things to you, right? And last week got out of control very quickly. So sometimes, you know, we talked before the game, I said, you know, you have these one-off games, and I was hoping last week was sort of one of those one-off games, and I mean, if you compare the tape of the two, it's not even close, right?
And lastly, you know, how weird was it seeing Anthony on the other side of the team this time around?
You get used to that, right? You see them all the time, right? Guys are moving teams. All the Rez is over there. There's a bunch of guys we had, Caputo guys we had in here, so you get used to that, yeah.
Who was the sports psychologist that brought in? Did you bring in?
Wally Bizdell.
Oh, yeah, he's worked local.
Yeah, he's local. He's actually a Canadian.
Oh.
He's from Nanaimo, where I played or coached lacrosse, and my son has played the last 3 years. He came out and played hockey at Union, and has stayed here ever since. But yeah, he works with. We got connected through Scotty Marr
Yeah.
at Albany, and he works with Union. He works with some NHL guys, and yeah, great guy. Fellow Canadian, so it's good. We had a
Gotta
lot
stick
of,
together.
yeah, we didn't even know. I didn't know until like we reached out to him and then found out his background. But yeah, really good. It was good, and I think the guys liked it. And it's again, a lot of it was sort of reinforcement and reframing of a lot of different things we talk about. But it's nice to sort of package that up and tighten the margins, so to speak.